Jeremy Cowart is an award-winning photographer. He's shot for Taylor Swift, Carrie Underwood, even President Barack Obama and Pope Francis. But I think one of the things that he would say he's most proud of is his humanitarian work. So what is it that you love about photography?
I'm laughing because these days I'm jumping again. I'm moving on to other careers. But I've loved in the past that photography has enabled me to travel the world, see the world. I've loved that it's enabled me to help people with, going through different tragedies. Or I've done hurricane relief projects, wildfire relief projects. I've shot some of the world's biggest celebrities. As a graphic designer, I was stuck behind a computer every day, me and just by myself, and it can get very lonely, and you can get bored. So photography got me out and to see the world. I needed to travel and meet interesting people, and so. But of course, being an ADD guy, I've gotten bored of that as well. So now I'm on to other things. So.
But how does your faith then play a role? I mean, as you're traveling around the world and you are shooting, all of these celebrities, identity is a huge thing in that world as well, right? It could be kind of superficial. Mm-hmm. How do you stay grounded in your faith?
Yeah, No, God is always, in the book I talk about how ideas are like paper wads being thrown at us, and our job is to pick them up, read them, and then go do them. I think I think we all have creativity within us, and we all get these messages from God, but I think a lot of people have voices of fear or doubt or insecurity that says, I can't do that, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too broke, I don't have a platform, I don't have the means. The list goes on and on. And I still have those voices. I still wake up every day with my fears and insecurities, but I've just learned that, wait, that little paper wad that God just tossed my way, it's like a piece of gold, and it's my job to go for it and to do it even if it fails, because even in failure I'm going to learn a lot. And so I do that over and over and over. Now I'm, building this crazy hotel. Yeah. It's been a long journey, and so, my faith informs me, and then I feel like I stay humble just because I never loved my own work. I see how far I need to go still. Other people might look at my work and love it. I don't know that I've ever loved my work, and so I think that keeps any artist humble, and my family, all my friends, everybody keeps me in check. But
that surprises me that you don't love your work. Again, world acclaimed, you're getting all these awards, all of this recognition, but you don't love your work.
Yeah, in fact, I just deleted probably 90% of my Instagram feed and my online portfolio. Yeah, it's just like, I'm over it. I'll just take all that down.
Why?
Even most of the celebrity work. I don't know. I just think it's an artist thing. You just want to move. I always like to look forward, and it's not that I don't like my past work. I have a healthy level of confidence where I know I can deliver for my clients. But yeah, as an artist, I just like to move on. I like things that challenge me, and so when I look at a lot of my work, I'm like, I could do better, and so I'm always thinking that of past work.
When you're behind the lens, because I've talked to other photographers, there's this shield that you have as you have this apparatus in front of you, and it's almost like a protection of really allowing the emotion to get to you. When you're able to put down that camera, do you have time to just settle in that story and settle in that emotion?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when you're in the moment, much like these guys here, it's like you've got a deadline, you've got time, you've got so many days to do the project, you're under the gun. But yeah, after the projects are finished, then I have time on the flight home or once I get home to really process like what I just heard, and it's always, and they stick with me forever, really. I'm always thinking about those projects. Even with my kids and friends and community, like the things people can't forgive each other for. I'm always in the back of my mind thinking of these stories. I may not mention them, but I'm like, I know what real forgiveness looks like. And the idea that, of course, God, is constantly forgiving us for all our many sins and struggles. Yeah, those stories. And maybe that's partly why I do them, is just to experience this true, real emotion, to kind of set a barometer, in my own life for what forgiveness looks like.
And then you have Help Portrait, which you've done. Do you still do Help Portrait?
We do. This year will be our 10-year anniversary globally.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this will be...
Explain this incredible thing that you do every single year.
Yeah, it was just an idea in 2008 to use my camera and my time and give the same star treatment that we give to celebrities to people in need. So that could be your lonely next door neighbor, that could be the homeless, that could be children in a children's hospital, it could be anybody in need. And the idea is to take the pictures, but not only take the pictures, like really do it right. Set up lights, do their hair and makeup, provide nice clothes, whatever you need to do to make the day amazing. And then we shoot throughout the day, that we print the pictures and we give them the pictures as a gift. And it's just amazing, because so many people over and over and over I hear, I've never had this done before. I've never seen a nice picture myself. And it's just the dignity that's involved. People, I mean, so endless women have never seen themselves with makeup, And if they do have a photo of themselves, it's some like terribly lit, photo. And so when we bring photographers in and professionally light them, and they really see what they can look like, they change. It's like you literally see change happen right before your eyes. And so many doubters over the years have said, well, people in need, they need food and shelter. They don't need pictures. And they're right, they do need food and shelter and all the basics, but they also need dignity. They also need somebody just to love them and say, you're beautiful, you matter, and your life matters, and that's what we're there to do.
And now you're working on this incredible idea of this hotel. And tell me about this and the process. And it sounds amazing and super exciting.
Yeah, so almost 7 years ago, I was walking through a hotel in Los Angeles for a photo shoot, and I was walking to the room hallways, and I just had this like crazy moment where I was like, oh my gosh, what if every room told a story? That would be cool. What could the story be? That could be child sponsorship, and then every room would sponsor a child. And then I looked down at my room key, and I was like, oh, the room keys could tell the story of the Giving Keys. And then I looked at the artwork, and I was like, oh, and every art piece could come from a humanitarian artist or photographer. And then I walked in the room, and I was like, oh, and the internet feed could fight human trafficking, and the soaps and shampoos could come from Thistle Farms. And basically it was just this crazy blink of an eye moment where I realized like everything in this building could support a nonprofit or a cause out there. And so, and then the name for the hotel hit me immediately as well, which was the Purpose Hotel. And so I ultimately knew the idea was right, but I sat on it for 3 years out of fear, out of I'm too young, this is too scary. What freelance artist builds a $100 million hotel? And so I did nothing. A year and a half ago, it was December, and I had met with a local neighborhood committee where we were going to be building the Purpose Hotel. Long story short, they just said it's not going to work out. Like we can't. We've got development fatigue. This neighborhood's too small. So that night I was really sad. But the next morning was Help Portrait, where we serve the homeless. And so I showed up to Help Portrait the next morning, and Santa Claus walks in. And I had been partnering with the Santa Claus for 9 years or so. I didn't know anything about him. He didn't know anything about me. It was just me and Santa. And I'd always just say, thanks for coming, Santa. You're awesome. But Santa walks in that morning, and he says to me, he said, hey, I heard you're building something special. And I said, well, I'm trying. I said, I'm trying to build this thing, the Purpose Hotel. And I told him the concept. And I said, our land just fell through last night, so we're kind of starting over. And he's like, man, I love the concept. That's really interesting. He said, oddly enough, since 1974, I've owned 4 acres downtown Nashville next to the convention center.
Oh my goodness.
And I said, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, that's millions of dollars of real estate that he just casually, was the owner of. And he said, we already have it zoned for a 20-story hotel. So we want something different, something that's creative and that gives back. And so he said, I'd love to chat. And so fast forward to now, a year of meetings and negotiations and all that stuff, and we are building our hotel on Santa Claus's property. His name is Robert, and yeah, it all worked out.
Oh my goodness, how God just provided for this hotel. So how many rooms will it have?
Currently, we're slated to have 280 rooms.
Okay.
Should be around 18 stories, and fitness and restaurants and retail. And we'll have a big music venue. It'll be a beast. I mean, and oddly enough, that's the vision I had on day one. When God gave me the first vision, it was never small. I was like, that's maybe why I was so scared of it, because the vision was so big. And fast forward to now, and it is big, and it is the original vision. It's insane.
And it's going to help so many people.
It's going to help so many people.
And what has your humanitarian work done for you? As you're helping others, what have you learned and gathered from that time of just giving back?
Just learned that that's what we're ultimately meant to do. That's why we're here, is to love others and serve others. And you know, like late in my life, I don't want to be talking about the celebrities I shot, or I want to be talking about what I did with my talent, with my, you know, tools. And so, and I just learned so much about humanity, and the Purpose Hotel wouldn't exist without those humanitarian projects. And I'm just so fulfilled by it. Every time I do a project, I feel most alive. You know, I feel like, oh, this is why I'm here, is to use my creativity and my ideas to serve these people in times of need. And yeah, it's super fulfilling.
Thank you so much for your time, Jeremy.
Of course, thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.